So recently, the MJ of boxing, Floyd Mayweather, came out on Fight Hype and said he wants to see Terrence Bud Crawford fight David Benavidez.
He wanted to go to 168, and he want to fight Canelo bad, and Benavidez want to fight Canelo bad. If they can't get Canelo, they can fight each other, Benavidez and Crawford.
Now, what was so shocking about that is that Floyd was the same guy who was saying Canelo needs to fight David Benavidez. He's ducking David Benavidez. Canelo, just like me, he's the shot caller. He's the boss. I gave him an opportunity. So he needs to do the same thing and give David Benavidez an opportunity, just like I gave him one. However, fast forward later to this day, Floyd is no longer saying Canelo needs to fight David Benavidez. Now, all of a sudden, he changed his tone to saying that since Benavidez want to fight Canelo and Crawford want to fight Canelo, then they should fight each other. Talking about Crawford and David Benavidez. So when I heard the news, I was so shocked because I was wondering, why will Floyd Mayweather stop there? Why will Floyd stop at wanting to see Crawford fight Benavidez? Might as well say Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and Deontay Wilder. Why stop at David Benavidez? I mean, let's just be real. Let's do the math. Floyd knows Crawford is a welterweight. He fights at 147. Floyd also knows Crawford already moved up 3 weight divisions from 135 to 140. Now he fights at 147. But Floyd is telling Crawford to move up all the way to 168. 3 more divisions. That will be 6 divisions total in order to fight David Benavidez. What you guys have to realize, the Canelo fight makes sense financially and legacy-wise for Crawford. That's why Crawford wants to move up to fight Canelo. On top of all of that, Canelo himself moved up 3 weight divisions to get to 168. From 154 to 160, now he fights at 168. So at least that makes more sense for Crawford. And even then, that's a tall task and a tall order for anybody. If Floyd had to move up from 147 to 168 to fight Canelo, that would have been a challenge as well. So don't get it twisted. It's still a challenge for Crawford. However, that's more doable than him fighting a natural 168-pounder like David Benavidez. For the people that's not informed, when Floyd beat Canelo, obviously that was one of his easiest fights. Floyd was already at his 4th weight division, and he had to move up to his 5th weight division to fight Canelo. But the major difference here, Crawford is in his 3rd weight division at the moment in time, and he has to move up 6 weight divisions total to fight Canelo, meaning Crawford has to move up 3 weight divisions at once to fight Canelo. That's why it's such a challenge that even if Floyd was in Crawford's position, that would have been a challenge for Floyd as well. And that's my point exactly. When Floyd is asking Crawford to move up and fight Benavidez, a guy who's a natural 168-pounder, that's crazy for Floyd to say that, because that will be equivalent of asking Floyd Mayweather back in the day to move up from 147 to 168 to fight Andre Ward. Floyd will never do anything like that. So why ask Crawford to do something like that? That's why I said, why will Floyd Mayweather stop at wanting Crawford to move up and fight David Benavidez? Might as well ask Crawford to move up and fight Tyson Fury, Usyk, Anthony Joshua, fights that are even more lucrative than a David Benavidez fight. Why stop at David Benavidez, who's fighting at light heavyweight his next fight? Might as well ask Crawford to fight a heavyweight too. The point I'm making is, like I pointed out before, Floyd knows better than anyone. The major difference to why Crawford only wants to fight Canelo at 168 is because the fight makes sense financially, legacy-wise, and the fact that Canelo himself moved up from 154 to 168. So the fight is worth the gamble. The risk is going to be worth the reward, because Crawford is going to end up fighting for undisputed, a whole lot of money and legacy. On the other hand, Crawford is going to end up fighting David Benavidez at the end of his career for nothing. Benavidez doesn't even have a title at 168. So why will Crawford move up 3 weight divisions to fight David Benavidez, for no title at all. Under these circumstances and under that scenario, Crawford wouldn't even be making history. He's not even going to win a world title jumping up 3 weight classes. He's going to be looking like a fool making a decision like that at 37, fighting for bragging rights. I mean, it's one thing if Benavidez was at 154, but for Benavidez to be at 168, the fight makes literally no sense for Crawford. So that's why I said when Floyd was asking Crawford to fight Benavidez, it was like, wait a minute. Last time I checked, Floyd and Crawford have a good relationship. Why would Floyd ask Crawford to do something silly like that? Something Floyd himself won't be willing to do. I told you guys that will be equivalent of Floyd moving up 3 weight divisions from 147 to 168 to fight Andre Ward back in the day. Floyd will never do anything like that. That's why he never did it. So to ask Crawford to do something like that doesn't make sense. It's one thing if Floyd Mayweather is asking Crawford to do something he already did. And we know Floyd Mayweather did a lot in the sport. So if Floyd Mayweather didn't do it, this should tell you everything you need to know on how hard it is to do something like this. That's why no one in history has done it, let alone Floyd. No one in history moved up 3 weight divisions and then after that moved up 3 divisions at once to fight for undisputed. This has never been done yet. That's why when Floyd Mayweather came out and said what he said, it was shocking because regardless of how hard is the task, it's one thing for Floyd to ask Crawford to do something he already did. However, Floyd is asking Crawford to do something here that even Floyd didn't do. Well, today, I think I found out a clue to why Floyd Mayweather said what he said about wanting Crawford to fight David Benavidez. I think this has something to do with Crawford team Bernie the Boxer. That's like Crawford homeboy. He came out and said, the move Floyd Mayweather made when he leaked highlights of the infamous doghouse sparring between Gervonta and Devin Haney, that was a B move. Tell him to leak the Errol Spence highlights when he kicked Errol Spence out of the gym. And apparently Floyd Mayweather took them comments personally because coincidentally, after Bernie the Boxer, Crawford assistant coach, his homeboy, came out and said what he said, Floyd Mayweather told Crawford to move up and fight Benavidez. At least he started pushing for the fight, saying that's a fight he wants to see.
Super petty, and that's a move to me. And that's why Bud Crawford couldn't be with a guy like that for no length of time because it's a big move. You know what I mean? It's eventually your tendency is gonna come out, and that's just weak at it. And that goes to show, like I say, if Floyd Mayweather did that to send it through him, you know, it shows that he's a too. And because again, it's a sparring session. Let's see the sparring session with Errol Spence.
Now everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but what doesn't make sense to me is how Floyd Mayweather was mistreated his whole career, how he faced all of the double standards, and they never really gave Floyd his credit. Every time he fought somebody that they were claiming he was ducking, after Floyd Mayweather fought them and beat them, they found a way to discredit him. Some way, somehow, to the point where even the guys he beat, they claimed they were greater than him. Max Kellerman started talking about how Manny Pacquiao is arguably the greatest of all time. The point I'm trying to make, Floyd Mayweather does the same thing that old media does to him, to other fighters on the coincidental list with his same complexion. Do you guys know Floyd crowned Duran and Chavez Sr. as number 2 and number 4 top 5 pound-for-pound fighters of all time, over fighters like Sugar Ray Leonard, who beat Duran? So in a way, Floyd Mayweather is agreeing with Max Kellerman logic that the fighters that lost are better than the fighters that won. I guess when old media and Max Kellerman crowned Manny Pacquiao over Floyd as one of the greatest fighters of all time, Floyd is getting a taste of his own medicine. I mean, even when Crawford beat Errol Spence, Floyd started talking about the weight, how Errol Spence should be fighting at 160 or 168, as if Errol Spence fought at 160 or 168 before. Errol Spence never fought at 160 nor 168 for a reason. is the same reason Errol Spence turned down the rematch at 154 or 160 against Terrence Bud Crawford, because he knew it was going to be the same result. And Floyd knew. The reason why Errol Spence saved Crawford for last, because he knew what time it was when it came to Crawford. The same way Manny Pacquiao knew what time it was when it came to Floyd. That's why prime for prime back in 2009, when Floyd Mayweather sent Manny Pacquiao a 50-50 split offer all around the board. Manny Pacquiao ended up turning Floyd Mayweather offer down, all because of a steroid test. Pacquiao didn't want to fight Floyd. He delayed the fight 5 years later because Pacquiao wanted to milk the cow. Plus, Pacquiao was younger than Floyd, just like Errol Spence was younger than Crawford. The point I'm trying to make, Floyd Mayweather went through the same double standards Crawford went through. They said Crawford was ducking Sean Porter. They said he was ducking Errol Spence. They said he was ducking Postal. They said he was ducking the gold medalist Flex Diaz. As soon as he fought them and beat them, they said, oh, he was cherry picking. That's why it shocks me every time seeing the fighters on the coincidental list not being able to relate to one another, but more so downing one another. That being said, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below, and to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Al 5 ahora. Roberto Durán. En el número 2, Roberto Durán.
¿Por qué Durán?
Wow.
¿Por qué Roberto Durán, Floyd? ¿Por qué? Era muy fuerte.
Unbelievable.